NHL free agent frenzy continues. We have a lot more big name signings to discuss here today, including Dmitry Orlov, Michael Bunting, Jonas Korpisalo, and a whole lot more. Plus, we have a trade involved the Dallas Stars and New Jersey Devils. All that coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. We have a ton of NHL free agent frenzy signings to discuss here. Since the last video, we've had a lot of action around the NHL. The biggest contract given out so far today is the Carolina Hurricanes acquiring Dmitry Orlov as a free agent, signing him to a 2-year deal at $7.75 million. Like, the blue line in Carolina was already really good, and then they go out and get this guy. I do wonder what this means for Brett Pesce. Obviously, a guy who's there, certainly looking for an extension. And a lot of talk that they have him and finding common ground on a new deal, and he could be traded. So I do wonder if this will push Pesce to the trade market. We'll have to see where that goes. The Ottawa Senators found their goaltender to work with Anton Forsberg, getting arguably, I think, based on stats, based on last year at least, Jonas Korpisalo, arguably the top goaltender on the market now, especially where the Carolina Hurricanes retained Freddie Anderson. Korpisalo gets a 5-year deal in Ottawa for $4 million per season. The term is a little bit long, a little risky, but the money is fine. He obviously has he's young enough that I think that this should work out well. They probably had to go more on the term because of competition on the market. He does have an existing relationship with Anton Forsberg. Both the goalies were in tandem together, winning an American Hockey League championship and a Calder Cup back, I believe it was 2016. So they've known each other well, good friends. That makes a big difference as well. They can both be good mentors to Man Sogard. If there's any injuries, Sogard certainly showed last year that he's capable of playing and filling in on a good level, especially on short-term basis. When he plays too much at the NHL level, he kind of showed that he was not quite ready to handle it, but on a short-term basis, certainly well worth it. The Edmonton Oilers and Connor Brown signings are finally official here as well. Brown gets a deal that's heavily into the bonuses here. His actual salary, which for cap purposes this year, will be $775,000, but he can earn up to $4 million total. There is $3.25 million worth of potential bonuses he can earn, and that can impact the Oilers' salary cap for next year. Of course, the cap's supposed to go up a fair bit, depending on how he does and how many of those bonuses he hits. It won't hurt them this year. Obviously, they're trying to win ASAP, but it will impact their cap next year. I'm sure he's going to unlock at least a few of those. The Sabres have announced a bunch of signings. They brought back Tyson Jost, who's an RFA that didn't qualify. 1-year deal at $2 million. They also went into the defense market and signed a couple of UFA defenders, bringing in veteran Erik Johnson from Colorado. Johnson gets a 1-year deal at $3.25 million. Certainly, I wonder, do they see him being that top 4 guy they were looking for or not? Because he also signed Connor Clifton, a 3-year deal at $3.33 million. So I suspect one of these guys is going to play top 4 minutes, which means the other guy's going to play bottom pair minutes. I don't know. Really, you don't usually pay bottom pair defensemen $3 million. So not really sure how the Sabres blue line is going to be structured here, but a couple of guys, especially in Johnson's case, with a lot of experience. They do have a young blue line, so it does make some sense here to bring in some vets. And Johnson should be able to fill the role. Obviously, we'll see if he can have a healthy season. That's been the struggle for him for the last number of years. The Nashville Predators continue to be busy on this day as well, signing Gustav Nyquist. He gets a 2-year deal at $3.185 million. Radko Gudas has left the Florida Panthers organization. He signed with the Anaheim Ducks. Obviously, the Ducks are going to have a young team, could use a veteran physical presence back there, which he can certainly provide, and they can probably afford to pay him more than most teams as well. He gets a 3-year deal under the Ducks with $4 million being his average annual value. So I don't think he's going to get that kind of money elsewhere, especially the Florida Panthers could not afford to go anywhere near that. San Jose Sharks signed forward Canuck defenseman Kyle Burrows on a 3-year deal. He gets $1.1 million average annual value. A little surprised to see him get 3 years, but good on him. He's a hard-working D who can play bottom pair minutes. The Rangers are signed Tyler Pitlick, a $785,000 on a 1-year deal. Of course, we also talked about before they signed Blake Wheeler earlier today. The Detroit Red Wings have signed a couple of different players, including goalie James Reimer. Reimer comes over from the Sharks at a 1-year deal at $1.5 million, and they signed forward Toronto Maple Leaf defenseman Justin Hall on a 3-year deal at $3.4 million. That, to me, seems a little bit rich for what you're going to get out of Justin Hall as well, but Detroit seems to like that, I guess. The Vancouver Canucks announced a trio of player signings, including a couple of defensemen who they've been rumored to have an eye on since quite the last week or two, leading into free agency. But they've signed Ian Cole, formerly of the Tampa Bay Lightning, a 1-year deal at $3 million, and Carson Soucy gets a 3-year deal at $3.25, formerly of the Seattle Kraken. They also gave Soucy a no-trade clause in all 3 years. They also bring in Teddy Bluger as well, who played with the Vegas during the playoffs, mostly with the Penguins over the course of his career. It's a 1-year deal valued at $1.9 million. Bluger will be good for their likely on their third line, excellent penalty killer. Soucy, and back to him though, like, why are you giving bottom pair defenseman a full no-trade for the duration of his contract? Like, this regime has not learned their lesson, and they're kind of doing the same sort of things that we saw Jim Benning do. They're bringing in mostly, bottom pair guys here. No offense to Cole or Soucy, they're decent defensemen, but when you're relying on both these guys or more to play top 4 minutes, and you still got Tyler Myers in there, I don't know if your decor is really all that much better. So we'll see how things break out in Vancouver. The Florida Panthers have signed former Bruin Mike Riley, who was bought out. He gets a 1-year, $1 million deal. The Flyers have signed Ryan Poehling, formerly of the Penguins. He gets a 1-year deal in Philly, 1 year, $1.4 million. Max Pacioretty goes to the Washington Capitals. Of course, he's been injured a lot. Back-to-back injuries with his Achilles tendon. We'll see how things bounce back for him. He gets a contract that has bonuses included. It's 1 year, $2 million salary, and he can earn an additional $2 million in bonuses. So that's a good kind of contract. Same sort of concept, of course, as Connor Brown in Edmonton. The Dallas Stars have signed Craig Smith, 1 year, $1 million. The Jets have brought in Colin Delia as a backup/third-string goalie option, 1 year, $775. The LA Kings are bringing back Trevor Lewis. Of course, he most recently played with the Flames, but a long-time King from before. 1-year deal, $775. They also signed defenseman Andreas Englund to a 2-year deal, $1 million per season. The Boston Bruins have brought in Kevin Shattenkirk, a veteran formerly of the Anaheim Ducks, on a 1-year deal, just over $1 million per season. The Carolina Hurricanes add another possible top 6 forward here, signing former Toronto Maple Leaf Michael Bunting. He gets a 3-year contract at $4.5 million. So that's a pretty good deal for Bunting. Obviously, there was lots of teams interested in his services, and he ends up in Carolina. The Sharks have signed Giovanni Smith to a 2-year deal, $800K per year. The Boston Bruins also bring in Patrick Brown, split last year between Philly and Ottawa. Really a best of fourth line player, 2-year deal, $800K per season. The Tampa Bay Lightning are bringing in former Stanley Cup champion Connor Shea, who split his career mostly between Pittsburgh and Washington. It's a 3-year deal at $2 million. He should be able to play mostly probably their third line in Tampa. The Panthers continue to add on the blue line. Of course, earlier they announced Oliver Ekman-Larsson signing, and now they had Nico Mikkola, who mostly played his career with St. Louis last year, ended up finishing with the Rangers after the deadline. It's a 3-year deal at $2.5 million. I don't have the AAV as of yet, but the former Devil, Miles Wood, is heading to Colorado to join the Avalanche, but I have not been able to confirm what his salary is going to be, likely $1 million or less, but we'll see on that. The Florida Panthers are bringing back Gregory Denisenko. He gets a 2-year deal at $775,000 per season. And the Detroit Red Wings are signing Daniel Sprong, formerly of the Seattle Kraken, in a breakout season last year. It's a 1-year deal at $2 million. Sam Steele heading to Dallas on a 1-year deal as well, formerly of the Wild, who was not qualified, $850,000. The Coyotes are bringing back defenseman Troy Stetcher. Of course, he played there last year and got traded to Calgary to deadline. He gets a 1-year deal at $1.1 million. And the Lightning are also adding Josh Archibald. He gets a 2-year contract. It's a one-way deal as well at $800,000 per season. As I mentioned, we also have a trade between the Dallas Stars and the New Jersey Devils. The Dallas Stars have traded defenseman Colin Miller to New Jersey for a 5th-round pick. So with the addition of Miller, I suspect in New Jersey that probably means that Ryan Graves is not returning. We'll see where he ends up today because he's also on the UFA market. So that's all your signings for now. There's more coming. I know there's some just waiting for details on a few other players like Matt Duchene, who's rumored to be heading to the Dallas Stars. Jason Zucker seems to be leaving Pittsburgh, and there's still some trades rumors floating around as well, potentially around Erik Karlsson and a few others. So we'll keep you up to date here with all the news, so stay tuned to Top Shelf Hockey. Let me know your comments and thoughts on all these signings in the comments below. We'll discuss further. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so we'll keep you up to date with all the latest news. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.